Excuse me, sir. RICO is not a crime. It is a category.
RICO is not a crime. So yesterday during the show, we saw the Tony Bobulinski testimony going on in the Biden impeachment hearing over at the Oversight Committee. We reported on a ton of it on the fly as it was happening. And I remember ending the segment saying, you know what, listen, I'm sure we'll have some stuff tomorrow. And we do. And we've got a series of Democrats just losing their minds yesterday. And we're going to let most of these videos play in their entirety. But I just want you to know going in that there's a lesson to be learned here. You remember when Obama was attacked during his presidency, if you do, you know, they had sort of a thing, the whole way of Obama sort of handling those attacks was always like this. Remember that old meme? It's like, you mean nothing to me. I'm going to brush you off. You're like a piece of lint on my suit, right? And actually, I got to tell you, that's a very smart way to handle these things. It sends the message that there's no there. It sends the message that this is all trivial. It means nothing. Not only does it not rattle me, but no one watching this stuff should be even bothered by it because it's such a fraud. It's so fake and it's so infinitesimal in terms of the reality of the situation we're facing right now. That's just... So bear that in mind as you see how these Democrats yesterday reacted to Tony Bobulinski, the man who was in the room and part of the entire Biden racketeering mafia operation. They were doing everything but. Let's start with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. It's one for the books.
Mr. Bobulinski, I heard your opening statement. It's submitted to the record, part of our proceedings. I have a quick question. Simple. Is it your testimony today that you personally witnessed President Joe Biden commit a crime?
I believe the fact that he was sitting with me while I was putting together a business
Did you
deal,
witness the president commit a crime? Is it your testimony today?
Yes.
And what crime have you witnessed?
How much time do I have to go through it?
It is simple. You name the crime. Did you watch him steal something?
Corruption statutes, RICO and conspiracy.
What is it? What is the crime, sir?
You
specifically.
You asked me to answer the question. I answered the question.
No.
RICO, you're obviously not familiar with. Corruption
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. RICO is not a crime. It is a category. What is the
It's a category of crimes that you're then charged.
You have charges.
A long 100.
You have charges, sir. Please
want me to name the exact statute under RICO?
Yes.
Well, it's funny. In this committee room, everyone's not here. There's over 18
all right, sir. I reclaim my
lawyers
time.
that went to law school.
I reclaim my time.
You guys
okay, thank you, sir. I reclaim my time.
RICO.
Clearly, what we are seeing here today is a continuation of the 15-month saga of the Republican majority lost in the desert. Impeachment 101. The majority party or whomever is raising impeachment must accuse the president of a high crime, a specific high crime or misdemeanor. I would like to submit to the record HRES 918, the House resolution to open this impeachment inquiry.
Without objection to order.
This resolution does not outline a high crime or misdemeanor. It's not here. Now, when we compare the chairman's opening from his previous opening, he's talking about Ukraine and Burisma and all of this. This entire inquiry is based on a blockbuster piece of information that was in a classified SCIF room. And inside that room was a document alleging President Biden directly of a $10 million bribery scheme, extremely serious. What happened? What happened a month ago, Mr. Chairman? That document, the FBI arrested the person who offered those allegations for falsifying his testimony to the FBI. This entire impeachment inquiry is based on an actual provable individual who has lied. Now, responsible leadership would withdraw an inquiry based on that. Withdraw it. Instead, what we are seeing is that this committee was warned about the falsehoods of these allegations long before that, warned by Trump's Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, and yet they proceeded anyway. The chairman proceeded anyway. This committee was warned by Rudy Giuliani associate right here, Lev Parnas, after that document about the falsehoods of this. Then held hearings where your own expert witnesses said that there was no grounds for impeachment, and you proceeded anyway. And finally, as if none of this was enough, the FBI arrested the individual who was the source of the entire, to quote the chairman, heart of the matter, to launch this impeachment inquiry, and proceeded anyway. At this point, the story is not the fact that the basis of this impeachment inquiry is wrong. The story is why it's proceeding anyway. Why is this committee proceeding based on false charges? And by the way, no charges. I have yet to hear in the chairman's opening the allegation that they are specifically charging the president of the United States with. I'm hearing about Biden family. I'm hearing about this and that. I am not hearing the specific allegation by this committee. What is it? It's not here. And that is the problem. The story is when this committee knew that they were working with falsified evidence. That's the story. And with that, I yield back.
It's beautiful, isn't it? It's truly beautiful. She couldn't even get her part straight. She was so excited to get to the hearing. Listen, if everything that she just said is true and all of this is falsified and fake and made up, and there's no even any crime to charge Joe Biden with here for impeachment, and Republicans only have, what, a 2-seat majority right now, and they were only able to get these impeachment hearings going with the slimmest of 1 vote. If all of that is true, why is she so upset? Why is she so hysterical? Why is she being so animated and screaming? And why does she sound like a chipmunk? When she sounds like a chipmunk, you know she's excited, right? That's part of her tell, with the fingers and the ears and the head bobbing thing going on there. I mean, seriously, ask yourself that very basic question. If it's true that there's nothing there, then why aren't they doing this? And instead, why are they acting like their hair is on fire? Why? There's an old chestnut of a motto. What's the word I'm looking for? Once again, I need to prove that I'm working without a script. There's an old saying that is sort of like everybody says it all the time. When you're a lawyer, they say when you're in a courtroom, you either argue with the facts, or if you don't have the facts, then you pound the table. Right? You have 2 ways of arguing your case. You either lay out the truth, or you just scream like she just did. You can either be right, or you can be wrong. And if you're wrong and then you're loud, then you're amplifying the fact that you're wrong. So the beginning of this entire video is an incredibly important premise that I love that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has now brought it down to this level. Imagine a court of law working this way, especially when it comes to white-collar financial crimes like this, okay? Like, for instance, let's use the AOC standard here with regard to tax law. Let's say the IRS comes after you, and they claim that you have submitted a false return and you haven't paid your taxes. All you have to do is present the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez defense. Here it is.
I have a quick question. Simple. Is it your testimony today that you personally witnessed President Joe Biden commit a crime?
There you go. Unless somebody personally witnessed you commit that crime, they got nothing on you. This is the new standard. It's the AOC standard. It's going to completely upturn the way we prosecute crimes in America. They're going to come after you for tax fraud, and you're going to say, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm not saying I did commit tax fraud. I'm not saying I didn't commit tax fraud. But did you personally witness me committing tax fraud? Well, sir, I've got the paperwork right here. This shows that your income was this amount, and this is the amount that you reported on your form. Whoa, 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 whoa. But did you see me personally fill out that form? You got nothing on me, pal. There you go. That's the new AOC standard. But of course, they've got a lot on Joe Biden. And the idea that they have not actually stated in the impeachment inquiry what the crime is a complete and total fake fabrication and red herring. When they actually lay out articles of impeachment where they actually charge the president with high crimes and misdemeanors, then yes, they will articulate what those crimes are. But this is an inquiry. They're looking into whether what the president did, what the president knew, what the president allowed rises to the level of high crimes and misdemeanors. Now, since Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is a Democrat, and she has been part and parcel to two impeachment proceedings against Donald Trump, I guess we can forgive her for not understanding how this thing works. But in the real world of an impeachment inquiry, you're actually supposed to go through the process of acquiring evidence that support the fact that there was a crime before you impeach somebody, something they didn't bother to do against Donald Trump those two times. So I get it that this is all very new to her. But then there's the soundbite heard around the world. When Tony Bobulinski actually said, when Tony Bobulinski actually said, oh yeah, we got a crime, it's called RICO. And AOC's response was, well, one for the history books.
What is
it's the category of crimes that you're
sorry.
Corruption statutes, RICO and conspiracy.
What is it? What is the crime, sir?
You
specifically.
You asked me to answer the question. I answered the question.
No.
RICO, you're obviously not familiar with. Corruption
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. RICO is not a crime. It is a category.
It's the condescending tone, the head bob, and then the over enunciation of category. She's just delightful. She's not very smart. She's not a lawyer. She doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. But you know what? I'm not a lawyer either. If only we had a lawyer who actually knew what they were talking about. Oh, we do. Greg Jarrett, who was on Fox News this morning. And Peter Doocy asked the question that I'm sure is on the tip of everybody's tongue after that exchange.
Is RICO not a crime?
It's absolutely a crime. 18 U.S.C. 1961 through 68. She might try bothering to read it. But, you know, this comment by AOC just added to the growing list of stupefying remarks by her. This one truly mind-boggling. The very word racketeering in its acronym conjures up serious criminality. But, this is a pattern with AOC. Whenever she opens her mouth, she tends to embarrass herself with a fundamental lack of knowledge.
It's true, but at the same time, we're begging Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to keep it up, because the fact of the matter is every time she does that and opens her mouth when there's a camera running and shows her fundamental lack of knowledge, but she does it with such a confident and arrogant way, every time she does it, it becomes great content for this program. So I agree with you, Greg Jarrett. She's an absolute and total dangerous moron, but keep doing what you're doing, AOC. We need you on that wall. Also, very important evidence that she just provided for the Trump defense team, because I'm thinking they're going to provide their own sort of motion for dismissal down in Fulton County, considering the fact that he is facing charges under the RICO statute. They are literally going after the president, his lawyers, and his advisors under the RICO statute with regard to his attempts to get a valid and believable electoral count in the 2020 presidential election. But now that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has told the world that RICO is in fact not criminal activity or a crime, I guess Mr. Trump can just save everybody in Fulton County a lot of time and money, and he can be dismissed. We'll see if they actually go ahead and do that.